Welcome to Your Yes-Filled Life. I'm your host, Brenda Winkle, educator, healer, speaker, guide, and fierce advocate for your yes. I help sensitive and successful men and women find, reclaim, and live from their full embodied yes. Through empowering you to understand your energetic hygiene, establish healthy boundaries, and heal your nervous system, you'll be able to create your yes-filled life and move through your days with more freedom, more ease, and more joy. You'll hear inspiring stories of people who found their full-bodied yes, thought leaders who pursued their own dreams and are living life on their terms, and learn new ways to find the courage, joy, ease, and freedom to more fully step into your yes-filled life. Say no to the good so you can say yes to the great. Join me on this journey to discover your yes-filled life. Whether you're looking to break free from the golden handcuffs, start a new business, find your dream job, or simply live with more intention and mindfulness, I've got you covered. Let's explore the possibilities together and make your dreams a reality. Ready? Let's do this. Let's get you to your yes-filled life. Hello and welcome to Your Yes-Filled Life. I'm your host, Brenda Winkle. I am so excited for today's podcast episode because my friend and client and college friend, Jill Perrin, is on the podcast. Jill Perrin and I went to college together at Chadron State College in Chadron, Nebraska. And we've been friends for decades. And we started working together a little over a year ago. And the things that Jill has done in her life since I have gotten reconnected with her are absolutely amazing. And I can't wait for you to hear the story of her transformation, going from a burned out music educator to an inspired sound healer. So you're going to get to meet. But before we do that, I'm so excited to invite you to unlock your energy. This is a challenge that we'll be having from January 6th through 9th, 2025. You'll be able to feel vibrant, clear, and aligned in just 4 days. Just imagine what it would be like for you to start each day with clarity, ease, and energy. The Unlock Your Energy Challenge will help you reclaim your time and vitality so that you can say yes to what matters to you most. Are you ready to feel like you again? Do you feel overwhelmed by your to-do list? Is your energy stretched thin from juggling career, family, and life? Are you craving more balance but not quite sure how to create it? You're not alone. So many high-achieving women feel this way, and that's exactly why I created the Unlock Your Energy Challenge. Over the 4 days that we'll be spending together for an hour each day in January, you're going to learn to identify energy drains. You'll learn to reclaim your energy. You'll create a vision for your aligned life and find ways, tools, and strategies to sustain your alignment. This is going to include a breathwork session, a 60-minute breathwork session, and a sound healing by Jill, our guest for today. It is going to be absolutely amazing. To learn more and register, go to brendawinkle.com/unlock energy, all lowercase, all one word. Let's get to know a little bit about Jill. Jill Perrin is a certified sound healer and retired music educator with 25 years of experience teaching kindergarten through fifth grade, including 10 years as a modern band instructor. As the owner of Purple Frog Vibrations and Healing, Jill helps clients find relaxation and grounding through the soothing vibrations of sound. Her certifications include Usui Reiki Level 1, Sound Healing Fundamentals, expert level sound healing, and vocal vibrations. She specializes in crystal bowls, tuning forks, and Tibetan bowls. Jill facilitates sound healing sessions in Colorado and California with plans to offer sessions online soon. Through her work, she guides clients towards peace and clarity in their busy lives. Outside of her healing practice, Jill enjoys travel, fiber arts, and music. She lives with her husband and two Boston Terriers, Doozer and MJ. I am so excited to introduce you to Jill Perrin. Hey, Jill.
Hi, Brenda.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me. This is a great opportunity.
I'm so excited to have you. So, we're just going to kick it off with a question, which I love to ask people, which is, what is one thing you either did or did not do that brought you to your yes-filled life?
What I did, I believe, is I figured out that I'm important
Hmm.
and that I needed to really kind of be good with myself. Otherwise, I wouldn't be good for anybody else. And so I really looked at my career at the time. I looked at, where I wanted to be in, 5, 10 years. And it wasn't where I was currently at. I wanted to do something bigger and on a grander scale and have it be in my power and what felt good for me. So
Mm.
that's what I did. And then that's how I found my yes-filled life.
I love that. And
Yeah.
so, what you're pointing to is that there had to be some changes that were made. And I'm curious, as you got ready to make those changes, was that comfortable?
Oh no, not comfortable at all. I was very much about, pardon me, about people pleasing and not letting anybody down. And I wanted to put my hat into every single thing that I was doing, and I wasn't doing anything for me. And
Hmm.
so I had to change that. I had to start looking at myself and saying, Jill, are you happy at what you're doing?
Hmm.
Um, and I wasn't at the time. It was fulfilling, but it was changing too much, and I was losing me. I was losing who I was musically, spiritually, professionally, personally. It just felt like I was slipping. And I decided I needed to take an early retirement from my career as a teacher and and step into something else. I needed a new chapter. And so that change was really hard to do because I'd been a music teacher for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was difficult. It was kind of like a divorce almost.
Oh, that resonates for me. I felt
Mm.
exactly the same way. In fact, we went to college together.
Yes, we did.
We became music teachers together at the same place at Chadron
Yes,
State College.
which is so great.
It's so great. It's so great. And so when you talked about people pleasing, I often think that nobody sets out in life to be like, I want to people please. I don't think that's anybody's goal. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's so sneaky how it shows up. And especially if you're in a career that's service based, whether it's like nursing, education, physicians, anytime that you're working with the public, it's really easy to become a people pleaser because that's kind of the expectation. Do you think that that was part of what played into it for you?
Yeah, I really do. Because I mean, I can look back to one of my first jobs. I was a grocery carryout person in
Hmm.
high school and first part of college. And I remember in the training, they're like, you're the last person that customer's going to see in that store. So you need to be just right on top of it. And that resonated, but at the same time, it grew into, how can I help you? What can I do for you? What do you need? Can I do this for you? And that then carried over to everything else that I did after that. It was, oh, I can get right on that. I have skill sets. I can help with that one. Oh, let me take care of that. And I was double, triple booking myself into things. I was signing up for every committee. So yeah, that's really what happened was the people pleasing just took over.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that definitely is partly that relates to my journey. I mean, my journey was a little bit different because there were some other components at play, relationships and different things. But I do think that we're socialized, especially in the United States, especially as women, to be carers and caregivers and caretakers at our own expense. And then we're kind of, and I'm going to use the word really intentionally, kind of celebrated for doing that. Not enough where you actually feel like you're being rewarded. Like there's not actually a payoff, but there's definitely like bragging rights that go into overworking, overgiving, overcommitting.
Absolutely.
So you finished your
Absolutely.
career as a music teacher, and then what?
Right before I retired, I actually started looking into, well, and I thought about it a while before that too. What do I want to do? I didn't want to leave music. I love music. I love that vibration, that I don't know what the word is, that just that satisfaction of hearing a song that just makes you feel good. And I thought, what can I do in a world right now where everybody's just kind of, all over the place? And I saw this thing for sound healing online. I was like, sound healing. Oh, that sounds fun. And I looked into it a little bit more, and it was, singing bowls and tuning forks and instruments and, just feeling that vibration, which if you've heard a really great song, you feel that just in your gut. It
Mhm.
just feels wonderful. And you're like, oh, I feel so good. So I was like, I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna see how that works. And so I signed up for one class, and it just started a whole thing. So I wanted to be a sound healer. Didn't know exactly how that was gonna work, but I wanted to share that love of that musical vibration, that to people. And so I just jumped right in.
I love that. Okay, so you're building this career, this second career as a sound healer, and at the time you were still in your teaching job. Is that correct?
I was for about 6 months. Yeah.
hmm What was that like being in the teaching job, the place where you had come to be a really specific identity as you're trying to recreate this new identity as somebody who's doing something outside of what you had known?
I was super excited, but at the same time, I kept thinking about, like, how do I do this? Is it a fear of failure? Is it, because I was like, I've always had to follow a certain thing to be an educator. And this was so, at the time, loosey-goosey open.
hmm
I was a little afraid of that. Like, what if I get out there and I do this, and then all of a sudden I just kind of fall on my face? And so to go from, during the day I'm working and it's all scheduled out and I have, all the things. And then I come home at night, and it's like the trip home. I start thinking about, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? Oh no, I'm going to retire in May. It's all those emotions. But once I got home and started doing the studying for all of my modules, I was like, wow, it felt so good. And I thought, you know what? I can make the decisions for me and my own business. I don't really have to answer to anybody else. I
hmm
don't have to take care of all these other entities. It's just my thing that I get to take care of. So it felt weird because then I'd go back to school and it would be, you have to do these, this, all these steps. And then I'd come home and it'd be like free. So it felt weird, but I was just really excited to be
That's
done in May.
amazing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. And I think to your point, like the freedom is the best and the worst part, right? It's the best part because if you've done a career that was very linear, that was very time bound, then becoming an entrepreneur or doing anything different means you don't have that structure, which feels really exciting for a while. And then you're like, oh, wait, I actually need a little bit of structure, maybe a little routine or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you and I came to work together like a year and something ago.
yeah.
And what were you feeling like when that happened?
So it was right after retirement. And, I had been following you on Facebook, and I was getting emails on your Yes Field Life, your podcast, all the cool things. And what resonated with me was your story about the right before you left and became what you are now. and, the concerts and the scheduling and all the stuff. And I had a lot of admiration for that.
Mm.
And I kept thinking, gosh, I want to connect with Brenda. And and then you had, I think it was one of your yes to me uh,
Yeah.
sessions. And I thought, I'm going to try it because it just sounded really good. And I was hooked. I'm like, this is what I've been looking for. That adds on to the things I'm studying for being a sound healer, and how do I put a business together, and how do I have that confidence to just do what I want to do and not have any um, roadblocks that I could just go around stuff that may have jumped in the way, because it was my yes filled life. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a healer. And so I was very inspired, and
Mm.
it just started with that. And then I started up with the first session with you to work with you weekly.
Yeah. Well, it's been so cool. Number one, to reconnect after all these years. That's been like my favorite part. But
Mine too.
the thing that I just admire so much, and I'm seeing myself in you and your journey, but it's getting to witness the confidence with which you're stepping into this new life is so cool because you are showing up differently in your life. You're showing up differently on social media and you're taking risks in a really cool way. And it's so much fun just to witness and watch. And I find myself feeling like, oh, this is cool. She's going to be doing this. I want to do that too. So it's been really very rewarding just to witness and watch. And I find myself benefiting from being alongside you.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Yeah. So one of the things that you've been working on is a special project that comes out in
Yes,
January. Do you want to talk about that?
I do. I do. So within all the learning of all the sound healing and all the stuff, and I actually uh, am certified through life-changing energy. And and I'm gonna drop a name. Vicky Gold is the one who is the facilitator and leader of all of this. And she put out uh, a message through social media, through our group, and said, I'm looking for people who would like to be a co-author of a book that speaks to how you became a healer. And it was like, ooh, that would be really fun. And I kind of just scrolled on like, it sounds fun, but okay, I'll just, And then I thought about it and I was like, oh, that could be really, really cool. And then I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm not a writer. I've never been a writer. You know, I've written poetry or, school stuff, but I've never actually written about something, and specifically myself, to put myself out there. It was kind of a scary thing. And then a few days went by and I saw the post on it again. And I was like, you know what? And it was late at night. It was probably 11 o'clock at night. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I signed up, filled out the application, sent it in, and went, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I get accepted. I don't know. And she only needed 50, um, 50 people to do a chapter for the book. And so a few days went by and kind of forgot about it. And then it kind of dawned on me like, oh, I haven't heard from them. And finally I hear back and I'm accepted to do this
Hmm.
book. And I was like, oh, wow, and it's super fast. So started back in September, I believe. She came up with the book idea in August. And so now through all of the things, I will be getting back my final edits, or my first edits for the grammar part of it. And then on the 15th, that's it. That it goes to do print and all the other things, the magic behind the scenes, I guess. Um, but it's called The Call Within, Finding Purpose and Sparking Transformation, which
Mm,
really speaks to me.
it's a great title.
Yeah. So we have 52 authors, and Right now, it's just kind of, advertising, get ready, it's coming, it's coming. January 4th is our book launch through Amazon, and you can get it for just 99 cents, which is awesome. Um, and so we're going to have a little party with that, kind of talking about, seeing how bestseller list is what we're aiming for, and I'm sure we'll get there. Um, and then in later January, we'll have a book writing or a book signing ceremony and celebration in LA. So
Mm,
that'll be really fun too.
so good. So, in the last 2 years, you retired from teaching, opened a sound healing business, and you'll be a published author.
Correct.
Yeah, that is,
That's crazy.
it's really, really cool. So, what do you think if you had to boil it down to like one or two things, or maybe three, that you either started or stopped doing to allow yourself to step into this new version? Because it is about allowing, right? It's permissioning yourself
Mhm.
to follow the nudge. What do you think you maybe started or stopped doing?
I Wow. It's kind of a combination because I stopped kind of holding myself back, obviously, from what I just said about signing up to do this book.
Hmm.
I'm not good enough. I'm not a writer. I can't do this. I can't. I stopped saying I can't. That
Mm,
would be one huge thing. And it became I can and I will.
hmm.
And so what I started doing is just saying, yes, this is what you can do. It was a positive self-talk. It was, yes, you can do this. And you have the proof right there. I had to keep, I journal a lot and I write down things and I'll draw little pictures and just try to kind of get it all out on paper. And then I'll go back and look and I'm like, wow, that's how I thought, X amount of time ago. And now, wow, this is how I'm feeling. And it's fantastic. It feels so good. I feel like I stand a little taller. Um, I have way more confidence when it comes to meeting new people. I seek that out, and I think people are also very um, guided to me as well, and I'm learning that too. So, but yeah, I stopped saying I can't
Mm, that's
because I know I
so
can.
good. Yeah, you can. Absolutely. You can learn how to do something. You can get support to do something. Absolutely. If you want to do something, you can.
Yes,
Yeah. And I'm just talking to our listeners right now. Like if you have this self-doubt or this talk, that would be a great thing to shift.
absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a couple things that I want to really highlight. You were successful as a teacher, and
Yeah,
the changes that you made were not because there was any lack of success. You had the success. And also, you felt like you wanted to do something more.
right. Yeah,
And that's so common for many of us, especially, in our 40s and 50s, to begin to feel like, I want something more. And there is a school of thought that sort of shames that a little bit. And of course, I would naturally reject that. And yet, there's something for so many of us that we have to really work through the shame of wanting more. And we talk
right.
a lot about this on the podcast with different guests, like how they got over the feeling of, I know that I want to do more and it's not what I'm doing right now. It doesn't make what I'm doing right now bad, but I want more. How did you permission yourself?
Well, it came from a lot of different directions. A lot of, wow, it's kind of hard to put it into words. It didn't happen overnight, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It wasn't just, I woke up one day and went, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Hmm.
It was every time something would happen that kind of made me feel sticky and yucky, I had to really think about, well, what do I want to do to make it better?
Hmm.
What am I going to do about this? And I loved teaching. I got into teaching because of the kids and sharing music with these young minds. And, they would come back after they'd left elementary and, say, hey, you are an inspiration to me. I'm becoming a music teacher, or, I'm doing this or that with music. And it felt really good. Um, but I just wanted more. It was just a rut, if you will, just
Mm-hmm.
doing the same thing. I go home, go to work, go home, go to work, go home. And then I would have, oodles of concerts and things like that. And I love the performing, but I start getting tired. I'm like, there's something else that's not eating at me, but it's calling me to do. And I wanted to break out of this little four walls that I was in. I wanted to expand and reach people all over because it's kids get a lot of that as kids in education. It's awesome. They get to grow. But then once we leave school, we don't have that as much, if that makes any sense. And so to have someone who can do that for an adult and say, oh, well, come hang out. Let's just relax. We do so much as adults,
Mm-hmm.
and adulting is hard. I'm just going to say it. It's hard. Sometimes we just want to build a fort in our living room and not leave. But um, I wanted people to be able to take time for them, even if it's just for a half hour,
Mm-hmm.
and feel good and just feel like, oh, okay, this is what it's like to just relax
Mm-hmm.
every muscle, every organ in their body and just
And so
relax.
this is a really personal thing for you because learning to relax has kept you healthy.
It has.
And so I want to kind of bring that in and saying, I do the work that I do because it's what I most needed. Like literally, I needed to find a way to stop people pleasing so that I could step into my own gifts. And that's a big part of what I do is I help people to stop people pleasing so that they can step into their gifts. And you
Yeah.
needed that relaxation piece. And so what did learning to relax help you do?
It really helped me get focused.
Mm-hmm.
If I could relax, I felt like my mind would open up a little more and I could really decide things instead of going, oh, I have 30 seconds, decide this right now, go.
That's the
I
life of
didn't
a
have to
teacher,
do
right?
that. Exactly. And it's like, oh, I can kind of sleep on that, and oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe I don't have to decide on this right this second.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can, go do something for a little bit. I'll come back to it. And I felt that I could do that without judgment and without stress. And the
Mm.
it was really great. And then to be able to relax, it just felt like, oh, I can make this decision and I don't feel bad about it. And it was great. So relaxation was a big part. Come to
Mhm.
your own little place where you can just sit or lay down or, you know, whatever and just relax. So
Mm.
that was, yeah. And I want others to feel that too. I guess that's kind of where I'm at is, this is what I do to relax. I feel like I'm a better person. I'm a better friend to myself. I'm a better wife. I'm a stepmother, so I can be a better stepmom. I can do all the things that seemed impossible years ago.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because when you're exhausted and depleted, everything feels hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you also have been studying Reiki and
I
you're
have.
adding that to the different healing modalities. What has Reiki done for you?
Oh, Reiki has been wonderful. I love the fact that I can, just feel the energy and I can help myself with that energy too. Just, placing a hand on my heart or, even like with my dogs, if they're freaking out and being weird, I can kind of give a little bit of Reiki to them and they kind of stop and go, "Oh, okay." And then they seem to kind of calm down a little bit. Um, but I love it in the fact that it's such a compliment to vibration
Hmm.
because you are feeling vibration, that energy through your hands, through touch. Uh, it, it just takes it deeper, I guess is the way I could
Hmm.
describe it. It
Hmm.
just makes it go deeper into a
Mm,
healing.
I love that. That's amazing. So you have been a part of what will become your guest filled life in 2025. And I'm so
Yes.
excited that you're part of that. We're adding like a mastermind component with quarterly roundtables with everyone who's a part so we can each bring something, one of our gifts to the table and share. And I love that element of it. Would you be willing to talk about what your experience this last year has been like for you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I've become a different person, and you kind of spoke to that too. I'm more confident. I kind of have a timeline. I know where I'm going. And your yes-filled life it is just, again, I can't come up with the right words for it. It's just amazing. Um, I I started it feeling like, oh, I don't know if am I doing this right? Am I breathing correctly? That
Mhm.
was a year plus ago. Now it's like I kind of regulate myself, and you give options of, you want to go deeper, you want to just stay right here. I've been able to give myself permission to do what I want for me. It's
Mm,
not okay as, I see four other people in this session, and am I breathing like them? Should I be doing what they're doing? It
mm,
just because that was in my mind in the beginning. I was this constant, thinking about what everyone else was doing in the call. And now I don't feel that way. In fact, I feel so comfortable and I look forward to that. And I use it outside of our call.
mm,
I can be sitting and watching a show, or I could be at a family gathering. And if I feel something different, I can breathe through it. And it feels great. And I just feel very confident
mm,
and like
mhm.
I do have power.
Yeah, because you do.
Yeah.
Because you do. So I was telling you a story today in our group call that I was having a conversation with somebody who was asking, like, am I doing things wrong? That I need this emotional regulation? That I need these skills? Like, what do I not know? And I was sharing that what I had said to this person was that everybody needs self emotional regulation, and either they're using the skills to regulate emotionally, or they're masking it at work and then coming home to numb with overeating, drinking, scrolling, Netflixing, whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
when you said that you can self regulate now, what's life like now that you're using all of these tools in addition to what you've learned with your sound healing?
Um, Life is, I guess, because I'm more organized. It's more about uh, what I want to get out of things. I look out at self-care, I guess, is something that I look at. Um, and I don't feel like I need to go numb something. If I'm having a stressful day, I don't, because I used to do that. I'd come home and I'd binge watch Netflix, or I'd be scrolling on my
Oh, me
phone,
too.
and I I try to not do that. In fact, I don't. I'm a fiber artist, so I love to crochet and knit and do all that stuff. So I will pick up a project and I'll work on that. Um, I'll listen to music, go sit out on the patio, I try to do something that is beneficial for me and making me feel good and healthy. Um, Go for a walk. Um, but yeah, life is more, I guess, easier. It feels easier to be able to self-regulate and
Mm,
know. And I'm getting to know my body more too. Like if I feel something coming, I will do something to help me get through it instead of just, I'm fine, and yeah, because I was really good at that.
Oh,
You
me
never
too.
know.
I
Never
was the
know that I
queen
was
of it. I
stressed.
was like working
Hmm.
that day, that first day of the school year in 2019, when I was doubled over sitting on a stool with pain because I had a gallstone stuck in the cystic duct of my liver and almost died. But I wasn't going to miss class. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Well, and that was, that kind of brings up, I'm a cancer survivor, 10 plus years now, which is great. But
Congratulations.
thank you. But I remember sitting in the doctor's office and them telling me what was going on. And I looked at my watch and I went, but what about my music program in November?
Hmm.
And they were like, Jill, no, you need to have surgery like in the next week. You're not going to be able to go do and prepare a big music, production.
Hmm.
And that was hard. I had cancer, but it was like, well, we'll just take care of that and I'll get back into it, right? It'll be fine. Yeah, I was clueless.
I
But
totally get that.
now
Hmm.
it's like I got to take care of me. If something's going on, I'm going to do it. And that's just the bottom line.
That's right. And I do think that for many of us, it's a learned skill to take care of ourselves. I
Mhm.
was like you, I was in the emergency room waiting for scans, and I was on the phone with different people trying to coordinate an audition that was supposed to happen. And I look back at that now and I'm thinking, wow, what were you
Right?
thinking? But I was like all in it. I got to call this person and that person because these people are coming in to audition at this time and blah blah blah. And you know what?
Yeah.
The hardest thing to realize, it was very painful at the time, but it's a lesson that literally changed my life, was I'm I was telling myself that I had to be the one to do all the things, and
Mhm.
they replaced me within an hour.
Wow.
Now, they didn't
Yeah.
they didn't give out my job,
Right.
but they found somebody to cover the auditions within an hour. And I had told myself that it was essential, that I couldn't miss, and it took an hour.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, I was like, wow, I just put my life on the line. And it was like two phone calls later and they had it covered.
Yeah. And that's, I think now I'm like, okay, if there's something that I need to do, sorry, I can't come to this, or I can't, I have to change my schedule because something has come down and I need to do this, and I
Or you
don't
want
feel
to.
exactly, or hey, thanks for that, but I don't want to go, or
Yeah,
I would,
exactly.
but I don't want to. So, I feel that it's easier to do that and say, well, that just doesn't work for me. And it's not being mean or rude. It's what works for me,
And it's
and
kinder in the
that's,
long run. It really
yeah,
is kinder because people feel our
yeah, of
energy. If we show up when we don't want to be
course.
someplace, they know.
Yes, they do.
Mm.
That makes it worse, I think.
Oh, I think so too, because then you've also self-abandoned and people still know that you self-abandoned, and then you're not showing
Yeah.
up as your best self, and off to the races in a negative cycle you go. So how can people work with you? What are some of the things that you offer that they might be able to connect with you on?
So what I've been doing in the last year or so is I have held sound baths like once a month. I'm currently at two different residences. So now I'm in my California place. Um, our main house is in Colorado. So there I had a yoga studio where I would hold sound meditations on Sunday mornings once a month, and that worked out really well. I'm looking to do even more than just group work. I'd love to have one-on-one, small intimate groups. I can come out to someone's home. It's really open-ended. I would love to do just about anything. I also want in January, I'm going to start online. So people will get to come and, experience it from the comfort of their home. It can be, I mean, it is just as healing and nourishing as if you were here in person.
Hmm.
Um, so that's kind of where I'm at right now with
Amazing.
that. So
And how
yeah.
can they connect with you? Where can they find you?
So you can find me on Facebook at it's under, I have a couple of them. Purple Frog Vibrations and Sound. And you can find me there. You can also find me on Instagram, and that's purple_frog_sounds. You can find me there. Or you can give me an email, and that's purplefrogsounds@gmail.com.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I talked to you about this when we were driving out to Long Beach, but I'd love to have you come do some sound at our retreats and maybe at some of my online events.
I would
Because you're
love
right,
to.
energy has no walls. So you don't have to be in the physical space to benefit from the sound.
Right. Yeah, I would love that. That would be so fun.
That'd be fun. I'm hosting another Yes to Me in January, and I don't have the dates
Oh,
memorized to be able to rattle them off my tongue, but that would be really fun to bring you in. Instead of breath, drop in one day, we'll do sound.
yeah, I would love that. That would be
Okay,
so exciting.
let's do it. That sounds amazing.
Yay.
So, as you've really carved out this new life, you have the schedule that you want, you have the flexibility to have the two city life, Colorado and California. What do you think you would want to say to a former version of you or to a listener right now that's thinking, I wonder if this is possible for me?
I would say to that person or my past self, it is possible and you can do it. It's just taking that first step. The first step is the hardest part. After that, it's going to go
Hmm.
the way you want it to. You
Hmm.
just have to start walking.
That's right. It's the decision.
Yep,
The decision to put yourself first is the hardest decision to make,
it
but
is.
everything comes together after that.
Absolutely.
Oh, Jill, thank you. Thank you for being here today and sharing your
Mhm.
beautiful self with all of us.
Thank you, Brenda.
All right. I'll put everything in the show notes. Go give Jill a follow on Facebook, on Instagram, and send her an email. And then Jill and I are going to coordinate, and you can go to the Yes to Me page and figure out which day Jill's going to be doing some sound on, and you can come join us. And we'll see you then. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, wasn't that a great conversation? Now, I have to admit, I'm a little bit biased because Jill's story so closely parallels my own. But some of the things that really stand out for me in Jill's story are how she talked about it wasn't comfortable for her to create the changes that she really wanted. And that is so important because sometimes we think that it should be really comfortable as we create new changes in our lives. But, the truth is, growth and change often require us to be a little bit uncomfortable because we're changing everything. So, if you want a little extra support in perhaps kicking off 2025 in the very best way possible for you, come join the Unlock Your Energy Challenge. Remember, this is 4 days that will literally change your life from January 6th through 9th. 2025, and you can learn more and register by going to brendawinkle.com/unlock energy, all lowercase, all one word. Okay. So, I just have to say, I'm so grateful for you. Yes, you. I created this podcast in April of 2022. And at that time, it was called Waves of Joy because that was what felt really resonant. And then when I rebranded it in 2023 to Your Yes Filled Life, I was realizing that it's so much bigger. I mean, yes, it's about joy, but it's about permissioning yourself to really claim the life that you want. And if you have found this episode helpful, would you please go give the podcast a 5-star rating and review wherever you're listening, especially if you're on Apple Podcasts? The written review is so helpful. And if you're not quite sure how to do that, you can Google it. It'll still take you like 30 seconds to leave a written review. And you can even leave comments now on Spotify. So if you wouldn't mind doing those two things, it would help the podcast so, so much. And, the truth is, the more people we have that are feeling inspired and lit up with regulated nervous systems that feel healthy and vibrant, the more kinds of beautiful creative contributions in the world there will be. Thank you so much for listening to Your Yes Filled Life. Bye for now. Until next time.